this is what I'm thinking here. So I put a ton of grease on here, one to help it stick. These guys actually come with everything, which is nice, and lesson learned. Just get these. Hey, good morning. Welcome back to Ohrmundt Simmentals. All right, it is Saturday morning. Didn't record anything in the last 2 days. Yesterday, it basically rained all day, and I had the day off, but wasn't able to really do anything farm related. So this morning, we're going to head down to the shop, and we are going to put the seal on the New Holland 1411 on that gearbox. If you seen in the last video, we were working on it, getting it all ready to go. Once we found out we needed that, they had it a day earlier than they said they were going to, which honestly doesn't surprise me because it's only an hour away. We weren't going to be able to work on it Thursday night either because I was unavailable then too, so it was fine. Another thing I'm noticing, these steers, they need some massive bedding, so that'll happen today as well. We've gotten about 1.5 inches of rain yesterday and overnight. Still keeping an eye on those cows so we don't run into the situation we ran into last year, but I gave them a really big chunk. They had essentially a 3 days worth, and it's turning out perfect, so they will get rotated this afternoon as well. So let's head down to the shop and get that seal in. And I want to try something a little different when we do it. And we'll see if it works. All right, here is the plate that houses the seal. So this outer edge here is just wore away. Same with on the inside because it just fills up with junk. So the idea is we're going to pull this guy out, put the new one in, and then when it gets all back assembled, so this cup is on top of it, you know, obviously reversed up this way, and then the shaft comes through here, but you know, obviously pointing down, is we're going to take this guy. So this is what they call a rubber slinger. So in previous work life experience, I worked in electric motors, and we use these to help protect the shaft, the actual where the shaft went through the housing. So what this does, and what I want to do, is I want to set it right there. I'm going to put a bunch of grease in this lip here, so it's going to ride right there, and as this goes around, this will help protect where the shaft goes through the housing and through the seal. It's kind of doubling up on this guy, but this thing is a little bit more robust than this one, and that's why we're going to put the grease in there too, because there's going to be no other sealant there, and it's not going to be able to work its way out this way because eventually it'll hit the cup. But the hope is that this guy will help keep the grass and the straw and anything that works its way up in that hole, because there is a little bit of wear on that. I don't know how much of a gap would be on a new one, but if anything does get up there, hopefully it actually pushes this up against the seal, and then this will take the beating, and if there's grease up in there, it'll still slip on the seal. Dad's getting impatient. This is what I'm thinking here. So I put a ton of grease on here, one to help it stick, and two, just as stuff wears, there'll be enough there, hopefully. So get the cap put on and get her tightened up. All right, so I bit the bullet and just went under there and finished putting everything together. It's been raining all day, which is really freaking annoying. So what we've been doing now is, well, one, Dad's gonna light a fire because it's like 55 degrees and raining out here. But we backed the 44 over here because we need to start looking at some wiring. As we pulled this guy out, so this is our monitor for the 450. So it's nothing super fancy, but I think it's going to be exactly what we need. But since it's raining out and we don't have a shed we can back this in, we are getting it as close as possible. So we need to find out, one, where we want to mount that one plug, and then how we're going to route everything in. This is our access plate to get stuff kind of routed around and in here, and then how we want to mount it in the cab. So nothing too crazy, nothing too fancy, just dealing with the rain. All right, so there's not a whole lot of progress, obviously, but we just did a lot of talking, visualizing, that kind of thing. We did take this is the access plate, we took that off because we got to make that hole bigger for what we want to put in there. Potentially looking at getting one of those ram mounts like we have for the corn planter monitor, and using that so that that way it can like pivot and be like looking at you. So we'll see. I'm gonna head to the farm now. Gotta bed those steers down because they really need it, and then I need to move the cows. So hopefully this rain keeps getting less and less. So we're throwing a bale up here like in the north of the border area. Dad's gonna put one over like right behind where they're eating right now, but it's honestly probably kind of a waste, but it is what it is. Just so much rain. But what I did do is I did open the barn back up so they can go in the barn. It's nice and dry in there, not like really good bedding dry, but there's still some stalks left in there. You can still tell there's stalks, but it's bone dry in there, so they'll be able to go in there, hang out. We still have those 2 heifers in here, and Dad just asked me when we're gonna give them, at least the one, when we're gonna give them their shots, because we know 35 is still open because she was in heat. But it just turned out that she came in heat at a really, really bad time. So we couldn't catch her, and it's raining harder now. But I did order the really nice blood Preg test that some other guys have used and tried. So we're gonna try those out hopefully tomorrow. And if she's open, or either of them are open, they're both getting shots of loot, or estro plan to be exact. So as our little valley here turns into an absolute slop hole, I'm waiting for one more blob to pass us by. I got about 15 minutes or so, and then we'll start working on moving the cows. All right, so we made it out here. It's actually not as bad as I thought. It is pretty soupy right here, but this is kind of the crossing, which was already kind of dirt. But the hard part is going to be that ditch bank, trying to get that reestablished, because they're knocking more of that down, even though I brought that, I put up that little temporary wire so they wouldn't get in there as much. Just things you got to deal with, and we need more gravel on this bridge. Actually, what we need is less rain. A little less rain. I'm okay with moisture, but for the love of cripes, just turn off the faucet for like a few days. All right, really, really nice move. No issues with the animals. Now I just got to figure out how I want to set my fence up so we can give this mud a rest. And I've got my oat seed, and I also need, gotta do something a little bit different right here, but that's all right. I can fix that. All right, so I got my opening set, I got my back fence set up. So this looks bad, but this is the crossing, so it's gonna be mud. It's this, you call it sacrifice area. Like this lane is a sacrifice area. But I mean, that stuff was knee-high clover and grass. You could still see the paths in there, but it was fine. This is more than enough for these guys for 2 days. So hopefully they don't trample it all and turn it all to muck. All right, so this isn't actually like past like here this way isn't actually that bad. It is a little muddy, but the grass is there. So hopefully if we could get a little, you know, a couple days for it to start coming back, I think the grass out there will start coming back. I did put some oats out there about 10 yards or so, but it's right here where I put a lot. Hey, good morning. All right, a little later start to the morning, and surprisingly it's not raining, which is like the first time in like 3 days. Had a little house project I needed to work on. There is a potential today, and today would honestly be the best day to do it, is possibly trying out these guys. So these are the Preg tests. I've seen a couple other guys try them out. These guys actually come with everything, which is nice, and lesson learned. Just get these. The other ones that are out there, you gotta buy like the little vial and the little holder thing for the needle to draw the blood. So these come with all of that. So both of us are having a little bit later start. Dad spent 20-30 minutes talking to my sister this morning because it is Father's Day. So happy Father's Day, Dad. You'll see this in a couple weeks because I know you watch the videos because you complain about them all the time you watch them. But happy Father's Day, Dad. And all you other fathers out there. All right, we're going to start out with these Preg tests. Got the heifers penned up, and I think I need to give these steers a little green so they stay out of our way. All right, first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a blood sample. So we've got the collection tube here and this. These two things are what were not in the other kit that I got. That's why I just went and ordered these. I think you're full. Okay, that was a good one. All right, we got both samples. That second one is a little bit more of a trick. That's why we don't do those anymore. We just have the vet do it. All right, so we've got our little stick here. We'll grab our sample here. Take the top off. This is 35. The second one was 10. How much? Okay. Alright, we'll put that cap back on. It's 35, and then you're supposed to add this chase solution. There we go. Three drops. All right, now we wait. We'll get the other one going. All right, so we will just let these sit. And you can kind of tell this is starting to turn pink because the solution has wicked up here. So according to the box, if we get 2 lines, they're pregnant. If we get 1 red line, they're open. And it looks like 30 minutes. So bring it back with results. All right, so I also had heard that you can get results in less than 30 minutes because it's already giving all the indicator lines. So we've got some good news and we've got some bad news. Come on, boys. Come on. These guys are so curious as to what's happening with their lady friends. They can't do a thing about it. All right, so we've got 35 on the left, we got 10 on the right here. And You guys can see it. We got one red line on 35, so she is open. And then we've got two red lines on 10, which means she is bred. Which is really nice because 10 hasn't been bred any other times. We've had a couple of little suspect, like maybe she's in heat or not, but that's cool to know. And that took, what's it been, 15 minutes?
Yep.
So that was pretty nice. It just, we don't like doing the blood draws because the first one was really easy and the second one was a pain. Dad doesn't like doing it. So, but for this situation, this works. All right, so 35's coming back in. We're gonna give her a shot of Estroplan, paint her tail, send her out. She should come in heat about Tuesday, and we'll just figure out what we're gonna do from there. Obviously, breed her again, but so, all right, let's get it done. So that went pretty darn decent. The name of the test is Preg Nostex. So I will leave a link in the description for where I got it. I usually order a lot of my stuff through Valley Vet. They're pretty convenient. I usually get my stuff within 2 days, being up in north central Wisconsin. So it's they've been pretty handy. And they usually have what I need. Usually. Honestly, really happy to see that 10 should be bred to Bold Ruler, which would be really, really nice. But right now, what we're gonna do, we're kind of gonna shift gears a little bit. Instead of going and working on that tractor, this yard is so filthy. We could throw 3 or 4 bales of hay in here for bedding. It'd be gone in a day. So what we're gonna do, and yes, the water hole is back, but we're basically just gonna make a pile right here. We're just gonna clean everything up, make a nice pile right here, let it honestly soak out, and make it a little nicer in here for these guys. Because hopefully after, like, say Wednesday, both these heifers, if not at least 35, will be gone. Come on. Plenty clean enough in here. They can nibble on all these grasses on the edges and stuff like that. Clean it up for us. So they'll serve a purpose too. They're like little lawnmowers. Probably not as good as goats, but I'm not getting goats. All right, Dad's gonna play around with that, and I think I'm gonna go actually along the road here where the fence is, a lot of tall grass. There's some sections I can start whacking away at. While Dad's working on this stuff, I've been doing some grass trimming and stuff like that, especially around some of these fences, and I will continue to do that. I might actually start cutting my lawn. Dad has created a massive pile. It's a little bigger than we thought it would be. Just a little. Maybe one would say a tick bigger. But yeah. Honestly, it's not a big deal anyways, because again, there's so much hay in there. This is again going to be the kind of bedding that you'd want to work a couple of times to, like, break it up, tear it apart. It's going to end up on the pile out there. Unfortunately, we didn't do it this time, but we would have just tore up all that stuff out there, because where the manure pile was, where we would start another one, that is slightly lower, so it's just full of water. So we just would have torn the heck out of that. All right, Dad grabbed a bale because he's done farting around with this, and he'll bed this down. It'll be nicer because it's just not going to get beat into the ground and chewed up. It was doing really, really nice until, like, I don't know, the last 3 weeks, and you know, when it rains every other day. Just the benefit from last year to this year is it's probably raining just as many times, just like half the amount, which is still better than last year. All right, putting these guys back where they belong. Spread the bold ruler. Pink butt. So hopefully we'll take care of her like Tuesday. And hopefully they don't crawl around in this pile of manure like a bunch of idiots. So we were pretty much going to call a wrap to this video and call the end of the day. It's a little bit early, but I still have things I got to do tonight to get ready for the week. And then I still need to make a stop down by Dad's because I have a very appropriate card for him. I will not show you because it's just an appropriate card. So even though I spend like basically every day with my dad, I still get him Father's Day cards because I appreciate my dad. And I will wish him a happy Father's Day and a happy birthday and all that good stuff every single year. So I'm gonna take care of that stuff, get that stuff done, and hope you guys had a great weekend. Hope you guys have a great week coming up. Hope you liked the video. Please hit that thumbs up button. If you got any questions, please leave them in the comments. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. Still trying to get 2,000 subs. You guys probably won't see this before we start cutting hay. We better be cutting hay by the time you guys see this. Might not be making our goal by haying season, but that's all right. We still want to hit 2,000 subs and then go from there. And as always, thanks for coming along.